So I'm going to record this for the third time because the previous two times it's not been as concise, and I want to really hammer this point home to debunk this liberal notion of war being pointless or war being obsolete, because fundamentally history has always been leaders rising because of the inherent reality of life and that it's meritocratic. So by the very fact that you have a leader signifies that they got there because of competency, and that's what they're not really, it's not really being grasped by left wingers or liberals who say this naive statement of war being pointless, war being obsolete. And that being said, good leadership necessitates conquest because in statecraft, in power dynamics, you understand that peace is only an interval between the times of turmoil and conflict of said tribe or state or whatever, nation or whatever. Misunderstanding this is naive because you're believing that people are inherently egalitarian and they're looking out for a community or looking out for the common good when humans are not that way inherently. So it's just as simple as that. So this is definitely a shorter one. Now I can tie it back to more of my personal religious beliefs, and I know I've gone earlier in the I made some videos earlier in the week on that's more pertinent to that subject with Europe and all that. And I can also get into it with the feminism topic because a lot of feminists believe in this patriarchy myth, and that'll be another video. That'll be a really good one because they believe that it's almost like this idea where they believe in whatever year BC men got together and said, yeah, we're going to get together and pretend like we're all fighting one another. But we're actually, empirically, you look at the data, we're subjugating women. And that's not the case whatsoever. It's the reality of life is that leaders got to that position by merit and competency, whether you use a formula of testosterone or aggression or belligerence or whatever attribute men seem to have more than the other groups of gender, I guess. It's the world is a scary, dark place, and there's scarcity in the world. So we're all competing for the same golden whatever. We're all competing for the same resource, and that's what gives it value. It's scarce, and we need it to exchange for food, shelter, and whatnot. So they're just fun. Basically, in summary, the liberal notion of war being pointless and obsolete is not understanding their true reality of power dynamics, of groupthink, and statecraft. And this topic really got on the forefront of my to-do list because I was seeing TikToks of the fiber optic cable drones that are very prominent in Ukraine right now in the conflict. And people in the comments were saying naively, they were saying, look at this technology humans use to kill fellow man. And it's like, dude, that is part of running a country. You have to enforce your borders. And I know they're going to say, well, Russia invaded. Well, there's fear of influence, and there's that saying, you wouldn't let China go into Canada or Mexico and put up, rockets pointed at Florida and all that. So it just doesn't make sense. They're just not understanding how to run complex, dynamic systems that we're all, if you don't protect what's yours, it's going to get took. That's why you need war, unfortunately. Nobody wants to be in the trench or a foxhole or whatnot, but it's the reality of life. So that's basically debunking this liberal notion of, war, make love, not war. which comes from that saying, "Make love, not war," comes from the Frankfurt School. And let me know down below if you guys want uh, me to basically examine what the Frankfurt School is and how it's still prominent in liberal mantras and that whole dogma. So down below, and subscribe and blase blah.